Hello and welcome to BizTech on GhanaWeb TV with me, Maoli Aholemega. On this edition, we'll go on a brief tour at a tech job fair where we'll look at some innovative products that are on display. Before I introduce my guest, I'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back from that break on BizTech. I have here with me Mr. Ambrosiana, and he is from IDEC Digital. We're going to be talking about Open AI, which is artificial intelligence. Mr. Yana, welcome to BizTech. How are you?
Thank you. I'm privileged. Yeah.
So we've been hearing. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So we've been hearing so much about this AI, artificial intelligence. What exactly is it, and how can we leverage on AI in Ghana here?
Thank you very much for the question. Yeah, artificial intelligence is, as the name suggests, is intelligence arising from the use of machines, smart machines, computers, to do what human beings would otherwise be doing. So it does it. Machines will do it in a very smart way, in a faster way. So it borders on the data science and all the other associated courses like machine learning, deep learning, and all that. And when you say machine learning, it's an aspect of artificial intelligence, which machines, smart machines, will learn. They will take on materials that human beings would rather be doing and do the analysis. And they're able to behave like human beings. You know, so the advantage is that you have faster way of doing things and more meticulous way of doing things. So you introduce efficiencies and effectiveness in terms of, especially in decision making. So if your decision making is based on data, so we have to spend a lot of time gathering data. Data maintenance is very important. So many organizations, both in the public sector and private sector, development partners and all, universities, we need to have data. We need to begin to know the importance of keeping data. And AI and through data analytics and machine learning will analyze these data and come up and aid decision-making process. So instead of using your human mind and to do decision-making, which sometimes can be flawed, you know, you can have machines based on credible data to come up with decisions that we can take and implement, which will help us to make progress in life. So artificial intelligence is something that is in the developing state. It's still evolving. It's an evolving science, but it's very interesting. Its deployment and practical application is solving many problems for our world today. Yeah.
So speaking of deployment, there are some concerns that artificial intelligence will be coming into taking people's jobs in the next few years to come. Are these concerns valid, and what's your take on that?
Yeah, I would say yes and no. Yes, because yes, people who have not invested in training to migrate from the traditional way of doing things will lose their jobs. So that is why IDEC Digital has set up a center and other training centers. That's why we're having this tech job fair. There are training institutions here. So everybody who is using traditional methods to do business will have to enroll in some of these courses to do it, to upgrade your knowledge, your skills, so that you can keep your job. There will be that transformation. There's a need to do that transformation to keep your jobs. If you don't, you will certainly have to lose your job. But the number of jobs that we're going to lose, because we are going to introduce artificial intelligence machines and robots and automation, is going to be less than the benefit. That is the number of jobs that are going to be created. A lot more jobs are going to be created for the teeming unemployed graduates and youth. You know, people can remotely work from your room, on your laptop, on your phone, as a business and make money. You know, so jobs will essentially be increased through the introduction of these scientific means of doing business. You know, so artificial intelligence is coming to provide more jobs, but people need to migrate from the old ways of doing things. Its application, you see its application in the banking sector, like fintechs. It helps them control the large number of clients they manage, the risk in terms of cybersecurity, in terms of customer service, user experience, If you go into agriculture, its application for agriculture for small, medium enterprises in terms of, farms, expanding your farm, predictions for weather patterns as to when you can plant and plow your farm and sow, and then disease control in terms of surveillance. If there's going to be a disease outbreak, these signals will pick it up. Improve varieties, of seedlings, and the production process will come up with improved yields, quality yields that can be used for local consumption and also for export. You know that for the export market, if your products done in the agriculture side, if they don't meet certain standards, you cannot export. Yeah. So it's used in so many ways. In industry, in mechanical engineering, industry would like to use robots to do most of the very tedious jobs that human beings have been doing, so that you can't do without human beings. Human beings will still be there, because artificial intelligence is artificial, but artificial intelligence doesn't provide emotional intelligence. A human being has emotional intelligence, which the machines cannot have. So they need to work together. So artificial intelligence will increase the rapidity, the rate at which machines can help automate industry and factory processes, so that you can produce more, and your profitability will increase, your sales and all that will increase. But it doesn't work alone. You still have human beings who will provide the other missing link. So artificial intelligence is not coming to replace people and their jobs. Yeah.
So finally, I want to come to STEM. I know Ghana's STEM development is picking up gradually. How can artificial intelligence be infused to ensure that we reach that point where our STEM levels are really great and can compete globally?
Yeah, in terms of science and education and training, STEM, that is basically what we're talking about. It has to be hinged on the learning of mathematics, physics, chemistry, and all of those things that eventually you deploy through soft skills, through computers, to be able to come up with products that are useful for and make life easy for human beings. So a lot of education is needed in the scientific area. And I'm happy many governments in Africa, including our own government in Ghana, is spending quite some time in STEM education, and especially for girls also. All of these sectors are dominated by male-dominated. So there's a conscious effort to encourage ladies, girls to get involved, girls in ICT and all of that. So when we have more scientists and we have more people in well-educated and versed in these software applications, then these are applicable to all sectors of the economy, starting from governmental agencies and departments and agencies. So there will be more productivity. If you go to the private sector like AGI, GNCCI and their members in industry, productivity will increase. Yeah. And if you go to academic institutions, they will be running programs and courses, and training institutions like IDEC Digital and others will be running programs on all of these things. And the development partners are also very interested in this. So because this is going to an emerging technology, they need to also to sanitize the environment in which we operate as a business. So our regulators are very important. So there has been a number of stakeholder engagements already happening, where all the people who have a stake in these scientific developments and their deployment and use are engaging in talks. How can we encourage innovation and creativity without stifling the whole thing through regulation? Yeah, so regulators like the NITA, they are coming to make a presentation here at this tech job fair. Cybersecurity authorities here, Data Protection Commission is here. You come to appreciate that data is very sensitive and is a privacy of information. How do you protect people whose information is harvested? There are certain standards that you must maintain. So all of these things are going to be done so that the dangers that scientific developments may present are minimized and controlled. There are red lines you cannot cross. We talk about ethics, standards and principles. So the standards must be maintained, ethics and then control and regulation, but not to the extent that regulation will stifle innovation and creativity. So stakeholder engagement therefore becomes very important.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Mr. Ambrose Yena, and he's from IDEC Digital. We've been talking about artificial intelligence and how to leverage on them. I'll move on to our next stand to find out what they have for us. Don't you go anywhere, we'll be right back. Welcome back from that break on BizTech. I have here with me Eugene Moyon from the IoT Hub, and he's going to tell us about 3D printing. Eugene, welcome to BizTech. How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
Yeah. So what exactly am I looking at right now? I see some machine doing all kinds of things right here. So tell us what exactly this is.
All right, sure. So this is a 3D printer. It's part of the emerging technology. So when I speak about emerging technologies, new technologies that are coming up or they're already existing and they are being updated. So what we have here is a 3D printer. Aside that, we have robotics, AI, amongst other things that are emerging technologies. So with this, you're able to 3D print anything of your choice, from educational materials, let's say alphabets that kids use in learning in schools, to things that you can use in making your own projects. So most of the things we see in our environment, let's say our switches, our key holders, most of these basic things were 3D printed. So you put in something called a filament. Yes. So when this goes in there, it's being melted to form whatever shape you want. And this is the technology that's improving in the world. So during COVID, China was able to 3D print houses for quarantine.
Houses?
Yes.
Like a whole house?
A whole house within a few days. So that's why I made mention of this is an emerging technology. It's still coming up. So very soon we are not going to have masons and then the normal block laying and foundation. We're going to have 3D printed houses and then other things to live in. Yeah.
So how did the development of this come about? I know you have to do some coding and all of that, so just take us through that briefly.
Sure. So with this, you need something like a software. The software that we use is called Blender. So we transfer, we transfer the Blender from its language to the machine's language so that it understands and it's able to print according to its calibrations and other things. Yes, so that's basically the software side. And the hardware, it handles by itself. So all you need is to input the information in here, and then it takes charge of whatever that it has to do. Yeah.
So since it's an emerging technology, how effective can this be used, and how can we leverage on this to, curb a lot of solutions or find solutions to some of the things that our daily life we're not able to achieve?
Okay. So with this, it's reliable. According to the percentage, I'll be like 90 or less, 95 out of 100%.
Wow.
Because this same technology is being used to 3D print human parts. So let's say artificial hearts, artificial kidneys. So there's no need for transplanting again. So the whites are using this to create artificial human parts that's supposed to save human beings and then keep them alive. Yeah.
So do you have some examples of some of the things that the machine has been able to do?
Yes.
If you can just show us briefly and what went into the process.
Right.
Just take us briefly. So Eugene is going to take us through one of the 3D printers, some of the things they've been able to use a 3D printer to develop. I see he's coming up. Is this some Lego or something?
Yeah. So this is like a dinosaur.
Dinosaur?
Yeah.
Wow, so the machine was able to develop this right here?
The flexibility, everything. The same as the fish over here.
Wow.
So this one can be used for, let's say, biology classes where they're able to study the parts of the fish and everything.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So how many more of such things can be done in a day?
It depends on the quality. Sometimes when you're printing, the quality also matters. It affects the time that it takes to print. So when you're printing something of high quality, and depending on the shape, it could take, let's say, an hour or maybe less. Some too, it could take maybe 7 to, let's say, 8 hours or 9 hours. Yeah.
Finally, you made mention of using the 3D printing to build houses.
Yeah.
Should masons and architects be worried?
Okay, so I think that's one issue that's rising up. I know there's something trending that robots or AIs are going to take over human works, and this is a typical example. But the thing is, as works are being lost, there are new jobs being created. So as you are moving from, let's say, the mason stage, you can learn something new that has to do with AIs or let's say 3D printing. So whether you acquire new skills, so where the world is heading towards, you need to learn something new. You can't learn and then you just forget about it. So there are 3 things involved. You have to have the ability to learn, unlearn, and then relearn.
Thank you so much, Eugene.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to let me keep this, but it looks like I like it. It's a fish. Yeah.
Sure.
So that's been Eugene Moyon, and he's with the IoT Hub, and he's been taking us through the 3D printer, and this is one of the things the 3D printer is able to do. Don't you go anywhere. This is still BizTech on GhanaWeb TV. We'll be right back. We are still here at the Tech Job Fair, and I have here with me Louisa Ayamga from the Academic City University College, and she's going to be telling us about Tech Expo. Louisa, welcome to BizTech. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hope you're fine too.
I always get excited to see women doing robotics and all of that. What course are you studying in school, and what is this whole Academic City Robotics Club?
So I'm studying electrical and electronics engineering. I'm in my 3rd year and I'm the president of the Robotics Club. So this year we are organizing the 2nd edition of the ACT Tech Expo with the theme, the role of technology in sustainable agriculture. What this whole Tech Expo seeks to do is to motivate young people to become leaders in the field of STEM, robotics, technology, by leveraging the things they learn in class. So for this time around, we are organizing another one where we'll bring in high schoolers, other students from the university as well. So when they come in, they work on projects that are geared towards sustainable agriculture. And it doesn't just end there. After this, we pick out the best projects and we try to incubate them for about a year. So during this period, they are trained on how to improve their projects better. And if possible, be able to incorporate this into the marketplace and actually try to solve problems within Africa. And also, we are trying to link these students to corporate persons that can help them push their projects forward. So that's the 2 main aims of the ACT Tech Expo.
Great. Yeah. So you are into robotics, right? We love robotics. What is the main goal for you? You want to be a robotics engineer or something?
I'm into robotics and technology and engineering as a whole, but then my main aim is to motivate people like me to also do what I'm doing. Of course, I want to build projects, I want to do big things, but then there are people that do not have that privilege. So I want to be that person that will also serve as a motivation to others to bring them to this field. Yeah.
So back to it, I see some pictures here. What are some of the robots that you guys are developing in development now?
Okay, so for this we have the Holybot, which is Holybot. Okay. Yeah, it's a fully 3D printed robot. Yeah, and this is used in one of the competitions. So based on the theme for a particular year, you're supposed to program your robot to do certain things. For example, this year it's sustainable agriculture. So you're supposed to program your robot to, let's say, plug a fruit, crack it open, pick out a seed from it. And all these 3 seeds, fruits are all 3D printed. So through this, we are trying to communicate that we can do a lot of stuff with 3D printing. Yeah, and also, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So for last year, we had last year's theme was industrial automation. So you had to program your robot to pick cards from a certain place and drop them at a certain place, sometimes based on color. So this can be done manually or autonomously. And we're also privileged to have Professor Elsefa Kaufman in our midst, and she'll be joining us again. Yes, and she'll be joining us again this year because she was so in love with the project that these young students were working on. Also, when we bring in these influential people, we try to motivate these students to do more.
So what are your final words for anyone out there that wants to get into robotics?
Don't think twice, just go for it. It's fun, it's interactive, you can do a lot of stuff with it. We can change the world with it, so don't think twice, just go for it. You don't need to have skills to start something, just go for it.
Thank you very much, Louisa. That was Louisa Ayamga from the Academic City University College. And we've been talking about their robotics program, which seeks to leverage on technology to solve solutions. I've also been speaking with a number of other tech-focused or tech-based persons here at the Tech Job Fair, and they've been sharing some of their developments and innovations with me right here on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Mali Aholimega. Many thanks for watching.